There's a nice little breeze out there.
Yeah.
Going for the Hoop City Quinella tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, we got a whole lot going on. First out of our show, though, brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. Whole lot to get to. Guest today, Dave Voloshin at 3:30. So after this first segment, bottom of the hour. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard joins us on college football. 4:30, Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian to talk some Grizzlies basketball. 5 o'clock, we bring on Beau Marchant to wrap up the NFL season. Super Bowl numbers are back. We'll get to those in just a second. Then we get out with Taco Bell Crunch Time a little bit early. We'll be out at about 5:25 to accommodate our coverage of Ole Miss basketball versus South Carolina. Pregame begins at 5:30. Tip at 6 o'clock on these airwaves, 560 AM, 98.5 FM. AutoZone listener line, you know it, 901-360-8255. Get in the Zone AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our social media platforms, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Brett mentioned it. We have the Grizz in action in New Orleans versus the Pelicans, and they've lost 8 of their last 10 to the Pelicans. No idea why, but the Pelicans seem to be the Grizzlies' Achilles heel. We'll see if they can get over the hump tonight. Also, Tigers in action at Cincinnati. Second opportunity on the road after a big win at Houston. And an important opportunity is Joe Lunardi released his latest bracketology update, Brett, and we'll tell you where he put Memphis. Hint, they're in the tournament. They're
right
tournament.
There. They're right there. Are they in Joe Lunardi's bracket or are they first out?
They're in. They're last 4 in. They're the last of the last 4 in right now.
I think he changed it this morning. I think a team
jumped
Memphis.
I do too.
And they're the exact first team out now.
Boy, the proverbial every game matters. Oregon last night matters.
So he changed it 2 times in how many hours? Good
Lord. Joe Brackets, man.
That's
He
him.
can do that.
It's that time of the year.
Yeah. We play by his rules this time of year.
Well, sorry, he's first of the first. They're first of the first 4 out then.
That's it.
That's
it. It's a lot of lingo, a lot of jargon this time of year. And I say tonight, great night for sports. And yes, we can live without football. We're going to show everybody.
But based on the numbers, I don't know how well we can live without football. NBC Sports coverage of Super Bowl 56 averaged a total audience delivery of 112.3 million viewers. Reached 167 million viewers. It's the most watched show in 5 years, Brett. 5 years.
That's almost a third of the country that plugged in some way, some fashion to the Super Bowl Sunday night. The Los Angeles market did not draw well. Others drew much better. Are we at over 100 million double vaxxed and boosted yet? So the Super Bowl may have drawn more people than are double vaxxed and boosted.
I would imagine.
The 3-shot regimen.
See, I do not know the numbers on that. We'd have to get those. Bryant would have to check those for us. But 167 million.
We're at about 65% that are double vaxxed of the country. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about double and boosted. But it was a big number. It was a good game. And the NFL, if they sat down and tried to script the end of their season and those playoffs, I don't think they could have come up with any better scenario.
Mm-hmm. And no, I find it funny going on Twitter today. First thing I see is the Matt Stafford Hall of Fame debate. We got that hashed out yesterday.
Old news. Passe
we got
us,
that all hashed out, man.
Big Man brought that one strong yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he was on that early.
Yeah.
Everybody's just trying to catch up.
Are y'all exhausted with Hall of Fame discussion at any level, be it the PED guys around baseball and who's in, who's out around baseball?
I'm exhausted
Todd
with that.
Helton playing in the thin air of Coors Field, and then to football.
It depends which debate, Brett.
Yeah, and see, I'm not because I can't do anything about it. I can't get anybody in. I can't prevent anybody from being in. And the whole football, I don't know how all the football debate now turns to Eli Manning. I got really bad news for you. He's going to be in. I don't know when, but he's going to be in.
Who are we talking about?
Eli Manning.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be. Hey, although it's kind of funny looking at his resume. The two Super Bowl MVPs and the 2 Super Bowls get him.
You can just stop right there. He has them.
That's it. That's what gets him in.
He has them, and you can't take them away from him. I know Rodney Harrison can be mad as he wants to be that they didn't complete the 19-0 and the ball stuck to David Tyree's head.
And what do you think?
I'm sorry,
it
happened.
What do you think about Richard Sherman's thing? I'm going to read it. I'm going to talk about it.
I think nothing about Richard Sherman.
He said,
I just literally never think about Richard Sherman.
He said the Hall of Fame bar is incredibly low, like a participation trophy. No all deck. Talking about Matt Stafford. No all deck.
Sorry, you played defense,
no
Richard.
All-Pro,
I'm sorry.
No MVP, one Pro Bowl, not even MVP of the Super Bowl. Never considered the best in any year he played.
Every utterance of that is defensive irritation, playing defense envy. Richard, I'm sorry, the sport is gone this offensive.
And you know what? I'm curious what he thinks about Russell Wilson after what he said about him pretty recently. He said letting Russ cook didn't work, actually, for the Seattle Seahawks, and that he doesn't know where Russell stands in regards to
I know what
leading
Seattle
a team offensively.
All right, Gabe, I know what Seattle had in the trophy case before Russell Wilson arrived, and I know what they have now, and if they had a functional brain as offensive coordinator and as head coach, they would have 2 Lombardi trophies in said trophy case. And I know what they had before Russell Wilson, whether it was Dave Craig or Jim Zorn or Matt Hasselbeck or take your pick.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing,
or Rick Myra. How much did Rick Myra win?
We hashed this out yesterday. Pro Bowls. To be honest with you, Brett, I don't give a damn about Pro Bowls at all. Like in the grand scheme of things, Mitch Trubisky got there. You have a bunch of alternates.
Vince Young got to a Pro Bowl.
Vince Young got there, and they don't necessarily. It's a popularity contest when it comes to the Pro Bowl. All pros for Matt Stafford. That was tough to come by. You have to beat out Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, Peyton Manning. I mean, that's tough. So I think it's just arbitrary to throw that all out there like that. And by the way, real quick, before we move on, do you think Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I think so too. And here's the other thing about that debate. If he wins that Super Bowl against the Patriots, there's no way you have that question. That's not a question.
And that was another game where functional brain as offensive coordinator, as head coach, he wins that game. Run the ball, work on the clock.
All right, now I do have the Tigers in front of me. I have Joey Brackett's new, updated,
brand new, right off the presses.
My gosh, hot off the presses. I checked it last night, and I didn't. Mm-hmm. Wow, unbelievable! And they were last night.
Gabe.
They were last 4 in, last of the last 4 in.
Don't be rough on yourself, Gabe.
This
Brian and I got big shoulders. You don't do that yourself.
This morning, they were first of the first 4 out, and he actually put in a note saying that Memphis moves back into the bracket, bumping Oregon with a win versus Cincinnati tonight.
The Tigers are in great position. It's in their hands. And with all the foibles and the fits and the starts and the aggravation that this year has brought, really and truly on February 15th, we would like for it to be more comfortable, sure. But they're in position. Close strong. You got 2.5 weeks of basketball remaining. And everything you wanted, including winning the conference championship, is still very much in front of you. Very attainable. This is not as far-fetched as even last year and 2 years ago, is it, at this point?
No. I mean, you have 2 games ahead of you right now. Then you're going to have a little bit of a break in the schedule before you get to Houston at the end of the year. If they can win one of 2, I'd prefer they absolutely win tonight's game versus Cincinnati, since it's a quad 2. They're 1-4 in the quad 2 right now. Win this game. Deal with SMU. If you beat them, if you go 3-0 on this trip, you can basically write yourself in. Unless you slip up down the stretch against bad teams, which
and that speaks for itself. Then you're at the mercy of the court. Then we all know that there really aren't any excuses left. There's not. Well, this team did that and we did. No, win ball games. We know it's really simple at this time of year. If you want to kick the door in and not have a big discussion point for the committee. The Cincinnati game, win or lose tonight, could eventually fall out of quad 2 status, though, couldn't it?
Yes.
With a collapse by them.
Yes, and
it'd have to be a collapse.
They've shown collapse, though. Mm-hmm. They lost at Tulsa. And I know it was on the road, and I know it's tough to win on the road.
That's sure an early sign of collapse when you lose at Tulsa.
Wes Miller had done a good job until that game in particular. Then I think all bets are off there. They need to beat Cincinnati tonight, though. I think that would go a long way to helping them get into tournament discussion, get into get on the right side of the bubble.
Cincinnati right now 78.
And they were 71 at the beginning of the week, which would have been quad one, which would have been nice, but is what it is. If you look forward to SMU, though, which the Tigers should not be doing that. We can do that, though. SMU hasn't lost a home game this season.
Of course we can.
That's going to be
hold the key to the Hall of Fame. Of course we can look forward to SMU.
That's going to be an incredibly.
We're talk radio. We can do what we want to do.
That's going to be an incredibly challenging game to go win at home. Houston couldn't go beat SMU when SMU was on their home floor. Yeah, there's payback, and especially thinking about how that last game ended in the press conference, you could think back to that.
What a night!
But
one of the real seminal moments of the Penny Hardaway era, not just for the eruption, but for what has been accomplished since that night.
What followed it? 5-0. Can't complain about that.
There you go.
Right? Maybe he needed some bad questions asked, or no? Are we gonna throw that one out the window?
And he responded, and his team has.
Yeah.
Or you could also say he's been 5-0 since he stopped getting asked stupid questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure could.
There's different ways to look at that.
And winning will stop stupid questions.
Great point.
That's a great point. I do think back to Penny at the beginning of the year, what he said about Amani Bates and Jalen Duren running this team and coming in and trying to get used to these things quick. That's got to be a regrettable sort of decision to have them as the focal point of your offense at the beginning of the year, considering what you've seen on this 5-game stretch. DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolly, Lester Quinones
we all have
the
regrets.
guys.
We all and you learn from them. What if we're really seeing the rounding into form, the full maturation, the full complete picture of Penny Hardaway as a head coach?
You would hope that's the case.
We waited and waited on that with Josh Pastner, and he never accomplished it, and Memphis never got it.
Let's throw out year one of Penny Hardaway era.
Okay.
I think last 3 years you're talking about slow starts followed by rounding into form at the end of the year. That's what you look at. And yes, you would hope. I think last year we had that thought too, right? About Penny.
We know what next year, what early on in the year is going to the storyline is going to be. Let's don't start slow.
Don't start slow. Get who you need in there immediately.
You got to have that figured out. You got to have that figured out by November 20th.
I just thinking back on the press conferences, blaming the older guys for not bringing the young guys along. Just it's tough to think about. Now, living and learning is there's a lot to be said for that. But the vets have been the guys who bring the energy and bring the noise. And DeAndre Williams in particular. Last 2 years, and I know last year was tough because you had to deal with eligibility issues and everything else. But once DeAndre gets on the floor, these past 2 years, the Tigers win and they look like a tournament team.
I've said many times, I don't think Penny Hardaway signed up for all of what goes into February 15th, 2022 college basketball coaching. Things change. The recruiting game has changed, and then the impact for everyone.
Hell, Lenardi changed his bracketology
Lenardi
in 6 hours. My gosh.
He can change with a hit of enter on his laptop. So things do change. You have to be very adaptable and learn on the fly. Zig when everybody else is zagging, and maybe Coach Hardaway's finally doing that. I don't bring this up as a non sequitur. I just mentioned Josh Pastner, so I'm not taking a shot at him, but the Josh Pastner Georgia Tech is getting now would have been the same if Memphis had stayed patient, if the administration stayed patient, had fought over him with Mike Babinski and Georgia Tech, not let him out of the contract, not let him leave. It'd still be the same thing. Today, Georgia Tech, net ranking 151, going nowhere fast. Won't last 2 days in the ACC tournament. You could have waited to the end of time, and the same Josh Pastner that was a coach in 2010 was going to be the coach in 2025.
In that disgusting ACC we talk about?
I do miss the flashcards, though.
That disgusting ACC we talk about, they're second to last.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech. So
in a pure slop year for one of the most noted conferences in history of sport.
Speaking of which, how's High Point doing?
High Point's going. I'll tell you how High Point's going. I think they're playing in about an hour in a pretty big game against. I saw that earlier and wanted to bring that up. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll find High Point. There's a lot of afternoon basketball because there's a lot of games being made up. High Point plays right now against
Longwood.
Can't get to it fast enough. The Lancers, Brad's team.
Oh, I love Longwood. One of my
Longwood.
favorite teams. Them in Seattle are my
Longwood
two
laying
favorite
8.
teams this year.
Insert your
I
own joke
love
there. Longwood laying 8.
Yeah. Longwood versus High Point.
Man,
11-14 High
it's gonna
Point.
be a great game.
How's High Point doing in
18 to
conference?
6
Do we know?
Lancers.
I don't think they're great this year in conference, but you never know.
Tigers got helped out last night though by Virginia Tech winning. Virginia Tech beats
Sure
Virginia
did.
62-53.
Now, I think I'm right in the RPI net world. It doesn't matter what teams you lost to, what they really do. That can't really help you. It's the teams that you defeated. That's where you really get the impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Tigers have bad losses. You can't take them back. They lost to 13 and 14 in the SEC. It's just facts at this point. You can't avoid it.
And we said it at the time. I don't care. I know they both were on the road. I don't care. First of all, Memphis had more fans there than Ole Miss and Oxford that day, and that Georgia house was not a heaping house of horrors that night for a road team. That was no decided home court advantage whatsoever. And we said then, Gabe, that those losses were going to look terrible because those two teams would be playing on Wednesday night.
What are we talking? 18 wins?
In Tampa.
18 wins between the both of them? Ole Miss at 12 and Georgia at 6?
I mean, just
bad loss.
two bad teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what conference or where you played them. That's what they are.
Mm-hmm. It is what they are.
It is what they are. I know everybody talking about missing football. We're not, and you can still turn every Thursday into payday with NBA on TNT on FanDuel Sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. FanDuel is giving all customers $10 back every Thursday. Just bet a $10 or more. Same game parlay on any NBA on TNT game. You so many different NBA market options, player point totals, chance to put a small bet down and win really big on TNT on Thursdays. This Thursday, it's the Bucks. Gotta love Giannis. I love Giannis to go over his point total. Giannis to go over his rebounding total. Giannis and the Bucks money line over the 76ers. We won't have James Harden in that game yet for the 76ers, but plenty of fun stuff there. I love Giannis and his points and rebounds, and the Bucks with the money line. If you like betting on the NBA, FanDuel Sportsbook's place is the place to do it. Odds boost, easy to use, live betting. Get $10 back every Thursday, win or lose, TNT Thursdays. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up right now with promo code CASH to make every moment more this NBA season. That's promo code CASH exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issues non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max bonus $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line. 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. They're at 2600 Ridgeway, and they're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Top story of the day has to be the Tigers playing Cincinnati tonight, going to Cincinnati in a makeup game. They got to bring the energy again. The vets have to be good. Lester, 15 for 30 from 3 in this 5-game winning streak. Landers, 4 for 5 in that game against Houston. DeAndre has brought energy. The vets need to do it again. And I think, again, I mentioned it. It has to be regrettable for Penny to sort of start the year trying to make Amani Bates the center of attention, trying to make Jalen Duren the center of attention with the guys that you had on the roster already. All these teams around the country that recruit well all want a good mix. They want vets. And I think now Penny's realizing to use them. He has used them, and he's used them for the better. So we'll see how it works going forward. But Cincinnati tonight, and also Joe Lunardi, 2 p.m. yesterday, had the Tigers in. 10:57 a.m. He took them out, but they are the first of the first 4 out. If they win tonight, according to him, they will jump Oregon to be the last of the last 4 in. So, big game tonight. Big games ahead for the Tigers.
Old switcheroo on Gabe right at showtime. Joe Lenardi pulled a fast one on us, didn't he, Gabe?
Sure did.
My top story, and isn't it something? Gabe's top story, so is mine. So it's the tie. It's the attachment that this market, that this community has for the Memphis Tigers. Look what the Grizzlies are doing, but top story, it's the Tigers. It's the college team at Zany Fifth Third Arena in downtown Cincinnati tonight. Tigers against the UC Bearcats. Cincinnati. Last time the Tigers met Cincinnati, Memphis won by 7 in the game at FedEx Forum. Now the rematch. Cincinnati with a 78 net. It would be another big road win for the suddenly very relevant Tigers. 5 straight wins since Penny Hardaway lashed out after the SMU home loss. 5 more to make it 10 straight. That would guarantee an at-large.
I need to send a strongly worded email to Joey Brackets, don't I? For changing it up so quick.
Can't be doing it that fast.
Golly.
DM him, Gabe. Jump in his DMs.
His DMs are not open.
No chance.
Brett, you know it goes down in the DMs, right?
It does. It certainly does.
Yo Gotti said.
What happens?
It goes down in the DMs.
Goes down in
Yo
the
Gotti
DMs.
told you. He
Oh, I
said it
didn't know
before.
Thanks,
you know what goes
Thanks,
down? You know what goes down in DMs?
Everything.
Not top story of the day.
Not top. I guess the MLB season. I don't know. It's just depressing. It's very depressing. Today, pitchers and catchers were supposed to report to spring training. It's obviously not happening.
In some places, not everywhere. I'm holding out hope.
Well,
Keep on holding.
Yeah. Hope you're not holding your breath, because that would not work well.
I'm not. I only do that when I take pictures without a mask on.
They were supposed to report today, and it's just another reminder of the fact that we're in a lockout right now, and the fact that we may not even have an MLB season. It's depressing.
Next week's crucial.
I know that they met on Saturday. I don't know how much ground was made up. Next week, I agree, will be crucial, but hopefully the MLB gets going. Don't have really any updates on it, except for the fact that spring training is supposed to be soon, and we're not going to have it.
Pretty good stalemate right now. I think 2 weeks from yesterday, the 28th, by then is really getting close to 0 hour, and the prospect of March 31st, opening day for everybody, all 30 teams going that day, could be in jeopardy. So it's going to look really bad until finally some clearance is had. And Joe Buck said on Tom Ackerman's show on Sunday morning, Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX just 2 days ago, he said he feels like it'll be on-time start and everything will get resolved. So if Joe Buck's optimistic, I'm going to try to be. My not top story, the little old plucky Grizzlies out there with one of the hot stories in the NBA, and they're the not top story today. They're in New Orleans to face the Pelicans. Pels routed Toronto last night. Golden State lost last night. So the Grizzlies are only 2 games back in the all-important loss column for the 2 seed. Tonight, very important for the 2 seed. And then tomorrow night at home against Portland, the 2 is very much in reach. You get a Grizzlies win tonight and tomorrow night, and then a Golden State loss tomorrow night, and you go into the All-Star break only 1 back in the all-important loss column, it's on.
Can anybody handle a loss to the Pelicans? Why do the Pelicans have the Grizzlies number? Beat them 112-101 earlier in the year? That's tough, man. That's tough. Lost 8 of 10 to the Pelicans, the Grizzlies have. That'll do it for Top and Not Top Story of the day. We got to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we bring on our good friend, voice of the Tigers, Dave Velosa, to talk about the Tigers and where they stand in regards to tournament hopes. You're listening to Sports 56, 98.5.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Get in the swing of things. Grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite. While at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary food and beverage service, all while playing a selection of games in a one-of-a-kind simulation bay. Topgolf Swing Suites are great for work outings, celebrations, or just getting together. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for golfers and non-golfers alike. They have more than just golf. They have soccer, baseball, zombie dodgeball, football, and more. Located at 5069 Sanderlin, adjacent to the Doubletree East Memphis. Check us out at swingsuitememphis.com or call us at 901-58-SWING. Again, that's 901-58-SWING at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Book your suite today.
The global shortage on chicken is finally over, but there are still places that will tell you that it is hard to find, except for our good friends at Poultry Power. Poultry Power is currently delivering chicken in bulk to your home or business at prices lower than your local grocer or food distributor. Having a cookout or catering event? Tired of being told no by other food companies when you need chicken for your restaurant? Poultry Power can save the day. Visit www.poultrypower.org to place your order now. And remember, when others tell you no, Poultry Power has the power to tell you yes.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling, and time to bring in the Twitterless voice of the Tigers, Dave Voloshin. Dave, how are you?
Twitterless?
Twitterless?
I'm on Twitter. I don't know what you're talking about.
Where?
No
Dave?
action, though. No action.
Come on.
Got an egg account, Dave.
Yeah,
Come on.
do you even have a profile picture on there? Do you have is your face on there?
I'm not one of those guys that is, look at me, look what I bought today, look what
We
I
want to
did
look
today.
at
Look
you.
how great I am.
We want to look at you.
We need a
Water
daily
is
update.
wet. We need to know what you're doing, Dave. We need to know where you ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I think if you really want to see me, you can watch me every Monday or Sunday night, Action News 5 with a coach's show.
And we can catch you.
see me.
And we can catch you 10 to 11 on these airwaves every morning.
Oh,
We get to watch
that too, right?
And I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter and all that. And by the way, the Tiger broadcast, seriously, the numbers will blow you away on what we have for Facebook on the pre and post games. I've been blown away, but anyway, you can see me there too. So I don't.
They won't.
need
They would not
to
blow me
brag.
away, Dave, because Gabe and I both just did top stories of the day, and we both agreed it's the Tigers, and we're in a market with maybe the hottest team in the NBA. It's the whole that this market, it's the love affair that this market, that this town, and not everybody that's University of Memphis related, but a lot of them, of course, that the Tigers, it's almost a spell, a 60-year spell that the Tigers have on this market. It would not surprise me, and now they're in the biggest game of the year tonight.
Well, you're right. We talk about DNA, right? I mean, we've talked about you got to have scar tissue to go on to the next level or whatever it may be, and I don't dispute that. But starting in the 50s, 1950s, folks, that's when the University of Memphis and the city really had the beginning of the love affair. So it's definitely in the DNA. And I don't know if there's enough money, but I think there is enough love and interest in basketball for both the pro team and the college team to exist together and be successful in that regard. You can't help but appreciate what the Grizz are doing and what John Morant means and what Triple J has become, and Bane is getting that way. I mean, it should be a lot of fun for their, 50 nights, and Memphis's 20 nights. There's 70 nights we can all enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Dave, what did you see in Fertitta Center in Houston from this team that you hadn't seen all year? What was the difference? What made them win? What pushed them to victory?
One, I saw everybody except Amani Bates. And again, Memphis hasn't had their full roster since November 24th, the night after Virginia Tech, when Chandler Lawson got hurt. There has not been the full complement of available people since that date. Now, most of them are back now, and the ones that are back now have a chemistry. And the second thing I saw, Gabe, is free throws.
Yep.
I mean, this is a team that was in the 300s as a collective group in free throw shooting, and they had the second greatest performance in the history of the school. To find a better performance, you have to go back to 1967 when they made 21 of 22 against Southern Miss. 18 of 19, and the best part of that is Minot missed the first free throw. They hit 18 in a row to seal the game. Now, would I have said they would be in that position on the road at the number 3 net school, the number 6 or 7 team in the country, and do that? Heck no. You'd have been crazy to bet that.
Dave, if they shoot 94% from the charity stripe the rest of the way, I'm going to call Dickie Brennan's and try to reestablish my Sunday night reservation at the Final Four.
There you go. I think that would be a great idea. You know that's not going to happen. They'll probably shoot 60% or 55% or something crazy tonight.
But they control that game Saturday. They were the better team from the tip to the buzzer.
You know what? It would really go a long way tonight to do the same thing, because it's going to be wacky in the Fifth Third Arena. And let's face it, Cincinnati is in a position much like Memphis was a few weeks ago. They got to win. They've lost 2 of their last 3. They got pounded by Houston. That was almost embarrassing, 80-58. And then they lost, and they gave up 83 points. This is a team, top 50 scoring defense, top 10 when it comes to defense against the 3. They gave up 83 points to Tulsa. So this team is really reeling, so they're going to do everything tonight. It's going to be a throwback to the 70s. They're going to wear these old white unis with red lettering that says Cats. Memphis, by the way, is going to wear their Memphis State unis, those blue unis they wore against Alabama. They're 2-0 in those unis this year. So both teams are pulling out all the stops.
You wear those every night.
Yeah, love those things. Dave, the one thing that really sort of resonates with me that's kind of bizarre is to think about how Penny Hardaway talked about the vets at the beginning of the year, trying to bring along the young guys. But the rest of the year, the vets have to be the guys that bring this team along. Lester Quinones has been great. Landers Nolley has been great. DeAndre Williams has brought all the energy and helped this team along. When he's on the floor, I believe they're 28-9 at this point. The vets have to be the center point of where this team gets their energy.
Well, they're actually 27-9, so maybe that was a slip that was prophetic. I would love that with DeAndre Williams. You're right on the money. Lester Quinones, by the way, has 4 straight double-figure games in his career. Even last year when he was so consistent, he never had 5 straight games with double figures. That would be good. I think Penny recognizes that he made an error. He said that in a piece that was done in The Athletic. Mm-hmm. I think it was earlier. I guess it was late last week. That he made an error in judgment in handing over the keys to Duren and Bates and foregoing the veterans that won him an NIT championship. I think if he had it to do all over again, he would not go that way. But, now that's water under the bridge. It will be up to those 3 guys in particular, Nolley, Williams, Quinones, throw in Duren and throw in Lomax. Whether you like it or not, Lomax is the best point guard you got. And by the way, since we're throwing out those numbers, when Alo gets 5 or more assists in his career, the Tigers are 25-6. It would behoove him to just think about distributing and getting the ball down low. They killed Cincinnati in the paint. They even gave up 16 threes and still won that game because they went inside, and that was without Williams playing. So I think bottom line is you've got to take advantage of what your strength is. And at this moment, that is Duran and Williams inside.
Dave, I had gone to your broadcast Saturday and heard you, and I really thought I've heard this voice from you before, sometimes restraining me. I thought you were going to take your headsets off and go, DeAndre, you're losing your head. Stop now. You were really aggravated.
I was just saying, what are you doing?
Stop now.
And then I thought, honest to goodness, I worry about Penny. Because Penny, I don't know if you've seen the video because you were listening to me, but Penny literally grabs DeAndre Williams by the front of the jersey and and I didn't know what
Sometimes
he was going to do at first because he was upset, and then he kind of cooled off and just kept dragging him away. And the funny part about it is the freshman Duran is the guy trying to calm down the 26-year-old veteran. I mean, who can figure?
Well, DeAndre's from Houston. Houston
That's
fan
sports.
base, I can tell
It
you
happens.
right now from experience, that Houston fan base is not the easiest to deal with.
That's a nasty bunch.
And we do expect DeAndre Williams' technical is about as common as a common foul.
Well, he's now 3 for 3 since he came back. I mean, come on.
That's fine.
You cannot do that, honestly. He has got to contain his emotions. It's a double-edged sword. The great thing about DeAndre Williams is that emotion. He brings a lot of energy. His teammates feed off of that. But there is a point. It's like a great skier. We're watching the Winter Olympics and downhill racing. A great downhill racer is a guy who gets those skis pointed straight down, uses the edges to a very fine point of control and out of control. And that's where DeAndre Williams is. A second tee is like falling through the barriers and breaking your legs, right?
That's what I do.
Don't go crazy. Control yourself.
Man, you just went Bob Beatty on me. What an analysis.
You went Winter Olympics on us. Gotta love it.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
I thought Franz Klammer was going to come screaming through my house with all that, Dave. Unbelievable. All right, tonight, you talk about Alex Lomax and the assists. Then distribute that ball. None of those rainbow jumpers, those big floating jumpers. Just be out there and be the quarterback.
I agree with that. Here's the only thing that I would say. If they are going to give him a 19-foot jump shot on the wing, take it. Sometimes he gets streaky good. I mean, he can score on occasion. He didn't play in the first game against them. I'll be interested in seeing what Wes Miller does with that if they try to sag in the middle and they allow Lomax the area to shoot. At least in the beginning of the game, I might let him do that, or I bring in Harris, and then everything changes.
Mm-hmm. And something that I thought in the Houston game, I thought Penny did a good job of growing with. First half, he did sort of the mass substitutions when they were up 15-4. Houston followed with a 10-0 run. Second half, he cut that rotation down to, 5 or 6?
Yeah, it was Foxhole time.
It was six guys, and that was on purpose. He made the statement in the postgame show. The point of a lot of substitution in the first half was to wear them down. Use a lot of bodies, wear them down, and you're fresher. And it worked. Houston was gassed. I mean, I saw Edwards, their best player, who had a bad game against Memphis because he got fatigued. I mean, gasping for air. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that plan worked beautifully. I think Cincinnati's a little bit deeper. They don't have the great talent, but they've got two guys that can score in Davenport, who had 7 threes against Memphis in the first game, and DeJulius is their best scorer. But they don't have the great talent, but they've got more depth, maybe 7 or 8 guys that can hurt you.
Yep. I know you got to get going, Dave, so we'll let you go. Dave, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
You got it. And, Brett, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
You got it, Dave. Be safe. Thank you.
Okay.
He is the voice of the Tigers. You can also listen to him 10 to 11 on Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Also has the call tonight. So
big game tonight, and you can tell it, and you can feel it with everybody. The Tigers are very alive, and a win tonight would not be ho-hum, just another one behind you. It gives you a little more wiggle room, maybe a chance to lose on Sunday without it being very punitive.
Yes, I think of the 2 games that they have ahead of them right here on the road, this is the most winnable. I think it's going to be really tough to go into SMU and go in and win on their home court. They have not lost a single game on their home court. That's going to be tough. I think the Tigers are peaking, though, at the right time, but it just becomes regrettable year after year for Penny Hardaway to get off to these slow starts, whether it's through not being able to get guys eligible, whether it's through injury, not being able to get your rotation correct. It's got to be regrettable to continue to start slow.
But we can't change it. We can't change it. November and December and January, that's what it was.
And he does good work in February. Like I said yesterday, his last 2 years in February, 8-0 right now, trying to go 9-0.
He's got to get to the edge of the cliff. We need that cliff out there November 8th.
Hey, but Brett, sometimes there's no better place to sort of clear your head and understand what you're supposed to get done than rock bottom, than on the edge of that cliff. You start to get it. You start to understand what needs to be done.
Well, you look into the abyss, and it's fiery and it's scary.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to get to a little bit of an early break. When we come back, I want to talk about the Grizzlies. Grizzlies play the Pelicans tonight. They're at 40-18, 2 games before the All-Star break, and they have struggled with the Pelicans lately. We'll talk about that. Sports 56 98.5.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
As football winds down and basketball really heats up, there's no better place to enjoy all the action than at Sweetgrass Next Door in the heart of Cooper Young. Sweetgrass Next Door is just the right size, not some giant chain and not some hole in the wall. It's the perfect neighborhood bar, and it's the perfect place to catch a game. But make no mistake about it, if you don't care about sports, you'll still be happy at Sweetgrass Next Door. Sports are on the many high-def TVs, but they're not blaring at you, drowning out conversation. If you love sports but you have friends that don't, bring them to Sweetgrass Next Door, the bar that puts neighborhood in neighborhood bar.
It's a new year. That means it's time for a floor model sale at Family Leisure. You can help Family Leisure make room for all the new 2022 products that are coming in. All floor models are priced to move right now. If it's on the floor, it's on sale. But you better hurry to get these special savings, because once these floor models are gone, folks, they're gone. We're talking theater seating, massage chairs, arcades, foosball and hockey tables, all on sale. Shuffleboard tables, pool tables, they're on sale too. Plus, there's so much more on sale, and you can get New Year's deals on spas and swimming pools as well. Family Leisure needs the room for new inventory. So what's here has got to go. You can help them. The floor model sale is happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. Happy New Year from our good friends at Family Leisure.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number. Flexing on these every bone and muscle. Steady taking shots, never hurting them.
Before we get to Grizzlies and Pelicans, we have some Tigers bankroll to do. I know Bryant and I won last time out. We had some good feelings.
We did.
Brett,
Yes,
you were the big loser last time.
I was.
I finally got off the schneid. I had lost a few in a row.
Yeah.
I only lost 20. I didn't have a great feeling. Gabe wins 40. Bryant wins 50. Bryant at 595 on the year. Gabe at 480 on the year. This is a legitimate number. I'm at plus 1,005. So I've won $5. We all started with 1,000.
Wait, you're that high?
Wow.
What? You had dropped down to 5. What's the lowest you've been on the year?
I think it was in the 9s.
He had dropped down.
No, I think
Really?
the lowest he dropped was in the 9s.
Oh, okay.
Because he got up early.
He's been the steady one. I hear you.
No. I dropped as low as 750, and then I hit the 200 bones on East Carolina, and we all sat together. Remember?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes.
I had 250 on that. In fact,
Darn.
250.
Look at you.
Okay, well, number tonight is 3.5. Is that what I'm looking at? Tigers favored by?
Yep.
Brian, you go first.
Oh man, I wanted you to go first. So I think Dave said it best. I think this game's going to be played down low in the front court. I think you got to limit those threes again. We're playing at 3.5. I'll take it for I'll pull a Brett 250 on the Tigers.
Whoa.
They get it done in big time fashion tonight.
Wow.
If you lose, you're down to 345.
That's fine.
Are you aware of that?
I'm aware of that. I'm that confident.
You're 8 weeks from being a college graduate. You can add. I'm sorry.
Well, adding skills aren't great, but
just give me $40 on the Tigers.
Boo.
40.
Yeah, that's it. You guys got, what do you mean, boo? I don't have much money to work with here, Bryant.
Go broke or stop
$40 for
playing.
Gabe on the Tigers. Give me 200 on the Memphis Tigers minus 3.5. I'm either up 1,205 or I'm up 805.
Someone switch, because we can't have a group lock. We know how this goes.
No, we didn't have a group lock.
We can't have a group
I'm not
lock.
switching.
We had a group lock against what was the game before that?
Houston?
Houston.
Oh, no, we didn't against
UC. No, when Tulane. We had a group lock against Tulane. They got it done.
We sure did have a group lock.
All right.
Have faith, Gabe. Have faith.
I'm not switching.
All right.
I'm out there 200 bones on the Tigers.
Now, Grizzlies, 40-18, visit the Pelicans tonight. They catch them on a back-to-back, so that's good. Although the Pelicans did look good last night, beat the Raptors 120-90. Pelicans, though, have won 8 of 10, 8 of the last 10 against the Grizzlies, spanning over 3 years. Grizz lost earlier this year, 112-101 on November 13th. And also, to add insult to injury, tonight, Brett, Ja is questionable with that sort of ankle injury he had the other night.
Yeah, I can understand it. Tomorrow night closes it out in front of the home crowd before the All-Star break. I wouldn't ever sacrifice a game for him to appear in the All-Star game, and I don't think they're doing that. But a little maintenance for him tonight, I can understand it. Been pretty solid with outstanding backup point guard play most of the year. How have we developed this thing with the Pelicans?
I have no earthly idea.
It's got to be broken out of.
It has to be. I don't understand. And also, the one of the worst parts about it is C.J. McCollum's now a Pelican, and we know C.J. McCollum.
He's been great with him so far.
Yeah, and he's a Grizzlies killer for the most part.
He is. How many did he have last night? I know he had 36 in his first game with him. I don't know how many he had last night.
Oh, gosh. Let me check for you. He was up over 20 last night. Let's see. He had 23 last night. 9 for 13 from the field.
They win by 30. They're drawing a little better in New Orleans, and they're right there in a tough spot. Do they really want to go for the playoffs?
The play-in, why not? I mean, they're right there. They're what, a half game behind the Trailblazers right now? They play themselves
tied in
into
the loss
play-in.
column for the all-important 10 spot.
The all-important 10 spot. Do you want to play into it?
It was all downhill after I said Longwood's laying 8. I mean, come on.
Love Longwood.
Do you like that they're laying 8?
I'll have to dig a little in. I'll give that to you at the end of the show. I'll let you know if that's the play.
Yeah, would I want to play into that spot? I don't know, but the moves they've just made, the move they made to go get C.J. McCollum makes me think that they want to, right?
San Antonio really doesn't want to, and Sacramento doesn't want. I don't know anybody that wants the 10 spot.
Sacramento, they made moves that makes you think that they want to possibly compete. They went and got an all-star at the trade deadline.
You really trust in Sacramento?
No, I'm not saying I trust Sacramento. I'm just saying they made a move that makes you believe they want to compete a little bit.
But tonight for the Grizzlies, they're on at 7. Tigers start at 6. About the time the Grizzlies start, it'll be almost around halftime around the Tigers game. What a fun night.
Yes, big night for the city. And honestly, the first night I can remember where
Tennessee and Kentucky own, now I duck.
You could possibly get 2 pretty substantial wins for both the Grizzlies and the Tigers, because I don't know if we've ever had a situation where they've been great at the same time, good at the same time.
Yeah, even good at the same time. It's been few and far between. But for the Grizzlies, heading into the All-Star break of all time for the Grizzlies, after tomorrow night, no more Grizzlies games until the 24th. Not another home game after tomorrow night until the 28th, Monday night, last day of February, the 28th.
I think it's funny too with the Grizzlies. They are 30th out of 30 with strength of schedule for the second half of for the second part of the season. I shouldn't say half.
Do you have strength of schedules in front of you? I wonder what Golden State's, because just perusing Golden State's schedule, it looks brutal, but I don't know how it ranks statistically.
I know the Lakers are the worst.
Oh, the Lakers. If anybody wanted those last few spots, I don't think the Lakers would hang on. Mm-hmm. And they're always a strain quad from LeBron or AD missing 5 games.
Okay, so Milwaukee the worst, the Lakers second, and it looks like Indiana with what they have left is the easiest.
They're no factor.
The Grizzlies are right there though.
Yeah,
basically tied at 29th. So
what about Golden State?
They're 10.
You see them
10.
They're right there.
Yeah, kind of right there in the middle.
Just eyeball. I thought it was tougher than that.
They got the Suns once, Grizzlies once, Heat once, Jazz once, Bucks once, and then the Mavs twice. So I mean, they're not. It's not the worst.
And critical for the Grizzlies when they play Golden State for the final time, March 28th. If the Grizzlies win that, then that's tiebreaker. If you fell flat foot, wins lost tie after 82.
The second spot for the Grizzlies is, it seems,
it's there.
It's
attainable.
Taking. It seems there for the taking with what they have left on their schedule versus the Warriors.
How come we can't get more time? I wish we weren't short on time, and I wish we didn't have a short show today. We need more time. High Hardwin, what's more attainable? Grizzlies 2 or the Tigers automatic or at-large bid? Tigers with an at-large or Grizzlies 2? What's more attainable? Text line, light us up. Let us know.
That's an interesting one. I'm gonna say, I'd say Grizzlies 2 right this second. Right this second. You asked me in a week.
It's the NBA, and it's going through Steph Curry.
You asked me about a week from now what I think.
I'm going to say Tigers.
I think it could be the Tigers, though.
I'm going to say Tigers today if I had to.
Grizzlies
at the proverbial tip of the spear.
That's two games they have to make up. No, it's not asking all that much.
No.
But it's Golden State with Steph Curry.
Steph in the way.
You know all
That's
that, too.
That's what scares me.
I'm sorry for being repetitive.
The Tigers have to win these 2 games ahead of them.
That's true.
To put themselves in an at-large conversation. Or at least win the one right now.
That's
and
what makes
barely
it fun,
lose against SMU.
Kind of fandom. That's what makes it fun, is to get in these sticky spots with them.
Maybe that's what Penny's trying to do. You know, he knows
Only
that
Alabama
that's what
makes
gets
it look
people
easy.
into it.
You know what? 901-360-8255. Let us know. What's more attainable? Grizzlies getting to the number 2 spot in the West, or the Tigers getting an at-large berth? I'm very curious what you guys think about that. That'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 is going to be a busy one. We start it with Brent Beard, our guy on college football. Then we get to Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian on some Grizzlies at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Sports 56, 98.5.
So we all know you can get everything you need at a grocery store, but why would you pay more for lesser quality meat? At Louis' Deli and Meat Market in Arlington, you're not only going to see the quality in their meats, but you will literally taste the quality in every single bite. Plus, more than likely, pay less. And that's really important nowadays. Got to get together? Fire up that grill with their handmade garlic sausages or jalapeno and cheddar bratwurst. Or how about a hand-cut bacon wrap filet or top sirloin? The absolute best. Or if you want to know how to improve your outdoor grilling, pick up some of Louis' fresh ground beef or maybe their hand-cut ribeye or New York strip. Louis has literally everything for your grill, from barbecue rubs, sauces, charcoal, and so much more. And Louis' Deli and Meat Market only carries the finest deli meats and 19 cheeses. And I guarantee you they make the best deli sandwiches in the area. So visit Louis' Deli and Meat Market, located in Arlington at 11695 Highway 70, just fourth of a mile east of Highway 385. Is locally and veteran-owned. Is Louis' Deli and Meat Market. It's the quality you can see and taste.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. There are a lot of ways to ruin your roof. Probably none worse than ice and snow. Google the term ice dam, and you'll understand that standing snow and ice can destroy your home's interior. Call me, 867-0303. Damaged ceilings or interior? It's time to call Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. We're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, so we've been vetted and trained by the best. You've known the name for years. Call me before you call your insurance company. We won't try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. We'll measure your roof from outer space. Call me, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking up new users with an epic Winter Games bonus. Just place your first bet on any Winter Games sport risk-free. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. To get you started, here are my picks. I like U.S. women's hockey to win, Shaun White to win men's half-pipe snowboarding, and men's curling to repeat for the gold. But you could bet on any event: curling, speed skating, snowboarding, and more. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook app with promo code CASH and go for the gold today. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Heart of Gold, a love poem from Southland Casino. Roses are red, violets are blue. There's a piece of $50,000 of free play waiting for you. Every Saturday night from 7 to 10 p.m. This February, you'll have so many chances to win. Just come to Southland for the Heart of Gold giveaway and feel the love for a chance to win $2,500 of free play. See Lucky North Club for details. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help, call 800-522-4700.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied.
Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling, hour number 2. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Autos on listen line 901-360-8255. Getting this on AutoZone. You can also message us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. And you can go to our website, sports56whbq.com, to message us, to find our featured audio, our podcast. They are all there, and they're posted right after the hour of the show ends. Now, we bring in our good friend on college football, Brent Beard, at Brent Beard on Twitter. Brent, how are you?
Well, number one, I'll be eating at Jason's Deli at some point this week over here. Yum, yum. And the muffins are back on the salad bar. I need Brett to know that.
Oh, we got them back here too, Brett. You're not ahead of us on muffins.
My faith is renewed in humanity after those got back on the bar again. So I was.
We're going to get the graham crackers back soon. I've been assured of it.
I've missed out on the muffins, guys.
Yeah. Hey, Gabe, y'all mentioned Twitch. Could Brett or I do anything on Twitch, and we'll be?
Oh, Brett watches streamers every night. I mean, he's a big Twitch fan.
In order to do something on it.
I know what I could do on it is make a fool out of myself on it. As I do a lot of days on these airwaves, I do that.
Yes.
Brent, the commissioner of the AAC, he pinned, it was almost like War and Peace on the college football playoff. And then I saw him on the Paul Feinbaum show a little over an hour and a half or so ago, Mike Oresco, and we've had him on. Mike Oresco is a very reasonable man. You know, he knows the TV and entertainment and sports business. He makes a strong case, and Paul Feinbaum nicely asked him kind of who was the bad guy of holding this up, and he nicely said the Pac-12.
Well, that's fascinating. Which would make absolutely zero sense, because the Pac-12 has so rarely got any team in the playoff. You would think that expansion to 12 would help them more than getting in the conventional way, which is having a team have a good enough season and then to win your conference and get in. So, the ACC and Commissioner Phillips has kind of been the latest villain. That is
they were next on his list.
Point.
They were next on his list, and he mentioned Jim Phillips quite a bit. But the ACC can at least point to some past success in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, if Clemson is working out, it works. But the question is, unlike this past season, when you do not have Clemson playing well, where do they really go? And guys, that's the problem. I mean, we cover them pretty closely, but let's be honest, that conference has not been really impressive. They've had some nice seasons by an NC State, a Wake Forest, teams like that. But as
North Carolina 2 years ago,
North Carolina, but frankly, having someone to really step up and to challenge.
They need the U back.
Yeah, I say, is Miami next in line right now with Clemson?
Well, with Cristobal, possibly. They've got the quarterback.
They got the coordinators too.
They do, but it's still going to take him time. It's rare, almost non-existent, to say that in your first year, after you make a coaching change, that you could get a team in the playoffs. That's not going to happen very often. But I do think better things are coming for them. And I tell you what, they are. There's two things I see here that I'm impressed with. Miami is going to have some spring practices. I think a little bit different than normal. Their spring game is going to be in another place, but the one that that caught my attention, that I think is a fabulous idea, is what Iowa State is doing. They're going to have an open practice at 3 different high schools in the state. Now, look, we know this is for recruiting. We get all that, but man, I love that idea. Ames High School, Gilbert High School, Des Moines High School, open practices for fans to go see. Now, I don't know what they're going to do at that point in the high school. It'll probably be pretty basic stuff, but I think that's a wonderful idea.
Mm-hmm. And even when I was in college, we did stuff like that. We traveled to Nashville.
Went up to Nashville.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Went to Father Ryan High School. By the way,
that worked, Gabe.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Father Ryan, they have unbelievable facilities over there. Some of those high school facilities
Isn't that
these
a
days are
great
ridiculous.
story about the name of that school and just what a legendary figure that Father Ryan was? I've suggested friends of mine in Little Rock at Catholic High School for the venerable late great Father George Tribou that they should consider renaming that. Gabe, what was team bonding and building like on that trip? How was that?
Bus rides always have some conversation. It's just I think there's a lot of people.
Was it worth it?
Weirdly enough, I think there are some guys that do get annoyed traveling across the state and then and then practicing and then being in your sweaty pads 3 hours back home. I don't think a lot of people necessarily like that. But it was fine. I mean, it was bus rides. You have fun on bus rides. I remember we were watching the Warriors Grizzlies season finale. When would that have been? Do you remember that, Brett? Warriors and the Grizzlies gave them a run for their money that year. Would have been 2016, maybe
16. Yeah.
Final game of the year, Warriors versus Grizzlies. I remember watching that on the ride home. Everybody was sort of hooting and hollering about that.
Brent, it was news made today with the book that's going to come out about Mike Krzyzewski, and the kind of the takeaway today, kind of the screaming headlines, is that he preferred and he got his way in the John Shira hiring over Tommy Amaker. You do cover in that market very well, the ACC.
Yes.
That doesn't look very flattering for Coach K.
No, it really doesn't, does it? I'm a little bit surprised to see that. Now, I'm sure there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't get privy to at times, but it really didn't. And listen, I don't know if you guys have thought this too. The last 2 years with Kay, now he certainly didn't when we were having that COVID situation. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know how much into it Kay is. Kay, frankly, has been the last 2 years. I'm not sure how much he's frankly at times even really wanted to coach and have them play.
It doesn't look like it's been very much fun, and it hadn't been with all the testing and all the segregating of your team, for medical purposes. It hadn't been a lot of fun. It chewed up Roy Williams, and he got out, and now we know Krzyzewski's getting out, and it just makes me wonder, would we get a Boeheim announcement anytime soon?
Well, that's a logical point to make, frankly. I mean, he still seems like he is his health is okay and he is enjoying it. Still don't think he's having the great success he'd like to necessarily, but that certainly would be logical in coming. And I can certainly get it if he wants to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, his both of his sons are seniors now.
Yeah,
so they're moving on after this. You sort of wonder about Jim Boeheim if he will move on soon. The ACC as a whole, though, this year is just rough, Brent. I mean,
it is.
It seems like it's been headed that way for a second, but this year just exposes it.
Well, see, the team that we follow very closely is Florida State, and they have been nowhere near what we normally see out of them. Now they've had a unbelievable amount of injuries this year, and we get that. But boy, that no question, it has been a rough year for the league. And I tell you what, I'm a homer and I admit it, but for what the SEC has been able to do over the last few years, it's been really impressive. I can see 7 getting in, 6 for sure, maybe 7. But they will be well represented. But boy, I tell you what, when you look at the ACC compared to what we've seen in the past, they need a reset. Frankly,
Brent, can you imagine that during one shining moment with a net hanging around his neck for Bruce Pearl, how that would, and especially if it was against him, and it could happen, how it would infuriate John Calipari.
Oh yeah, no doubt, absolutely. Well, you do wonder, though, will there be a time where, again, what Pearl has done on the courts has been amazing, but and what they've done to generate interest, certainly they haven't done in the football team right now. But I'll say this though, Cal has. He's got those guys going. I'm talking to several people about this, guys, and we may have some argument with different people on this one, that when Kentucky, I've been told by a couple of guys who cover pretty closely with college basketball, that their argument is when Kentucky is totally healthy, they may be better than Auburn.
Yeah, and honestly, I have been there all year. To be real with you, Brent, I've been right there because I think
they
when
will meet 2 more times.
Yeah, and I think when you shorten down rotations for
SEC
sort of postseason,
and somewhere in the tournament
for postseason, right. I think Kentucky may have them. And I thought Kentucky for that first half against Auburn looked really good until Ty Washington got hurt and they had some issues in the second half. You brought up Auburn basketball being good. It's probably a good thing because football is lagging behind right now. How surprised were you to see Harsin be able to keep his job after all of that nonsense?
The stay of execution from Governor Kay Ivey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The longer it remained intact, the more it looked like he was going to keep his job. They tried to, I'm sure they tried to compromise with him, probably offered him some kind of deal. He was smart enough to say, look, if you can't prove anything, then
fire me and pay me a buyout.
I'm hanging around. So
right.
Now look, he's got a long way to go, and if they are 6-6, 7-5, which they very easily could be, that they may be going through this again. They did keep Zach Etheridge, who people thought was going to Georgia, but guys, all the way around. I know we jumped in. The basketball crowd on Saturday, but Harsin stuck to his guns. I give him credit for that. He's got a lot to do with that roster, with that coaching staff. They played Penn State at home this year. Got the first 5 at home again. Oh man,
right.
That goes back to haunt you at the other end of the schedule. But Gabe, that's a good question, but he survived them.
Right, and here's the thing: is like I respect what he did. He's fighting, right? Because I think a lot of those boosters want to kick him out, and he was saying, "I dare you guys. If you guys want to kick me out, we can go to court. I'll win. You're going to have to pay me a huge buyout. You're already on the hook for Gus. You have paid so much money to your coaches over the past 5 years. You can pay me too." If that's the case, but you're not just going to kick me out for cause and I'm not going to fight about it. I think it's always best for these coaches to fight. Now, I think in the end of the day, the money pushers end up winning. So this is not the last we've heard about Brian Harsin getting sort of prodded from the inside out there at Auburn. But I thought it was fairly good of him to go out swinging and fight the way he has.
I don't know if other coaches with a different temperament would have done that, but that's kind of who Harsin is, that he stuck to his guns. But look, what he's trying to do is, and I think in fairness to him, he's trying to make this a more physical football team. He is trying to stand up and let his which is be known in the midst of the board of trustees and also the big money boosters along that line too. So he is trying a different approach. He's on. I guess if he's going down, he's going down his way. But I tell you guys, still, that the bottom line comes to be wins and losses. Yep. And can you recruit? And I don't know if Harsin can do that yet in the league.
I would suggest to him he better not drink and drive with anything heavier than one of those great lemonades from Toomer's Corner.
You don't. What Brad's saying is don't give them an excuse to fire you. Correct.
Mm-hmm. He can't get caught driving and texting. He can't get caught driving without a seatbelt on.
Right. That's a great point. Yes.
I wouldn't drink anything heavier than sweet tea if I was Brian Harsin from now until my last day on the job.
No, absolutely not. No, I would agree with that. And again, I mean, he's got a long way to go. But my Stars, at least give him 2 or 3 years of getting his roster and see what he can do before you get rid of him. And they just panicked with this situation. They saw they did nothing on the second national signing day. That they see their big rivals, Alabama and Georgia, continue to get in front of them. Now, let me drop this one in here, too. This coming year, for the 2023 class, this is the deepest and best recruiting situation in the state of Alabama, maybe ever. So the question is going to be, believe me, that's going to have a lot to do with how Harsin hangs around. How many of those guys can he get on Auburn's roster?
Yes, that's going to be huge because we know why Gus was out at the end. He couldn't recruit high school talent on the O-line. He couldn't get that done. I just found it bizarre, too, with the timing that they were trying to kick him out with. He's on vacation. You're done with signing day. If they were gonna kick him out, who were they gonna find in that time, Brent?
Logical point. And look, I would love to hear that. I mean, what we've heard, the Kevin Steele. I mean, what we've heard,
right?
Hugh Freeze. We've heard Matt Rule. I'm going to be fascinated, don't you guys, to see. And you know good and well it will, because somebody's going to have 1 or 2 beers too many and spill that to somebody who they really were looking at to bring in.
How many places has Freeze begged to return to? Arkansas, Tennessee, South Carolina, Auburn, LSU.
Is he ever going to make it back?
Will he, Brent?
Maybe. Now, what I get conflicting reports on is will the top brass in the SEC, i.e. Greg Sankey, welcome him back? I may not be with open arms. I think that's a thing that you kind of hear a little bit of different things on that too. But here, guys, here's a reality. Aren't there several coaches out there right now who can basically put up the kind of offense that Freeze does at this point? I mean, it's not that Hugh has a patent on it.
The rules really hurt it with. And the rules really hurt his offense with now everybody having time to substitute.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the thing I'm getting at. I mean, what 4 or 5 years ago, I could see that even more than now. That they would be fascinated in trying to get him back. But look, if I was Freeze, I mean, he is the king at Liberty, guys. My Stars, he's making $5 million. Or close to that. He did a great
big
job.
Big fish, small pond.
Yeah, but Malik Willis.
Big bank account.
And then the question for me would be, how sustainable is it to have the level of success he's had year in, year out. Malik Willis has moved on. You have to recruit and continue to recruit and hit the transfer portal really hard.
Got to do it again.
If
and
you're
again.
Hugh Freeze, that's a lot of work to be able to keep up that success.
So I don't think he goes Liberty to the SEC. I think it's got to be Liberty somewhere else, and then maybe back to the SEC. But who knows? As crazy as the SEC can be, maybe he would pop up this November at coaching carousel time, and who knows? Maybe Leo Lewis is his director of football ops somewhere. Brent, who knows? I've seen crazier things in SEC.
Yes, and we will continue to see that within the league because if they can get him in, there are plenty of schools that will be glad to pony up a tremendous amount of money to get him in.
Mm-hmm. Have y'all heard the reports, the stories about Ed O possibly returning to USC? I found those funny.
Well,
in what role?
he said he'd be open to returning to be a defensive assistant for Lincoln Riley. Those are the rumors.
Look, whoever's listening here, if you haven't heard old talk about getting the guys help me on this. I'm just zoning on the running back now. As far as trying
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Thank you. Trying to get Peterson's.
Dad.
We're not being disparaging here. We're just telling what's in the report. Trying to get Peterson's father closer to what L.A. As far as to change prisons.
Yeah, I didn't think that story was. I didn't think that story was flattering, though, Brent. I thought that highlighted to a large community to Adrian Peterson that I think it showed what a lot of people are really irritated about, that we're more than just a number on Saturday. And the only reason he cared about helping his dad was for AP to play tailback at SC. He didn't really care. Orgeron's telling that story and laughing it up, and I'm thinking it makes you look like more of a fool.
Yeah.
But it does. But honestly, more than anything, for me, Brett, it highlights what we already know about how cutthroat recruiting is.
Oh yeah.
I don't. And yes, it takes it. There's an extra layer to it, but we know these things about recruiting as a whole. What people do to get guys on campus.
We do. Does most of the public know this? And I don't think it's flattering when Jimbo says, we've really been paying the players forever without NIL, and Ed Orgeron trying to do something with the California or the Texas State penal director to get Adrian Peterson's dad moved.
Dare I say though, Brett? I think part of it's refreshing for someone to admit it, to admit what they're doing behind closed doors.
That is, I guess, refreshing. Maybe it's certainly enlightening. It's certainly enlightening.
Yes.
But then, does that help him land somewhere else? If we know, Ed, get on Radio Row at Super Bowl and tell all our secrets.
I don't think he's worried about it really.
Well, but again, the bottom line is it's going to be in recruiting. And would recruit bat an eye with something like that? I think that's a thing that you hear from a lot of these coaches. How these recruits are going to react to something that they have done. Guys, my answer to that is the reality of this is these kids just want a chance to play. Yep. They want a chance to go in the NFL. What kind of NIL the deal they're going to get? Look, I've got two 20-somethings, and they look at life differently than we do as far as what is in it for them, regardless of what the coach has done in his past.
And
or
they
even
should.
in his present.
And they should. You better know that guy may not be telling you the entire truth. Ed Orgeron also told the story about, in-state recruiting when he was at Ole Miss against Mississippi State of State hiding out Fletcher Cox down in Yazoo City where Ole Miss couldn't get access to him.
Yeah, absolutely. All the stuff that goes on, it just, and I'm not saying everybody does it, but there's, particularly in the SEC, there's enough that goes on that's just amazing, and to be able to see more stories as people write about them. Meat Market, I think, is another one that the book
Bruce Feldman
that talks about that. It's pretty fascinating too.
Yeah, the recruiting in the SEC is unreal, and with NIL now, I don't even know extent of the conversation.
Correct.
It's even new to me. It's even new to me to think about what they're talking about behind closed doors. But, Brent, always appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Me
Brent.
too, guys. Take care.
You
You
got
too.
Brent Beard with us every Tuesday talking college football and college basketball. The go-to place to sell any vehicle for some crazy good money and get a check today is at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. And if you don't have to buy one of All-Star's cars or trucks, just bring it on in. Even if you owe money on it, they'll write you a check today. But if you're ready to go car and truck shopping, All-Star's the place to be. All the Silverados are at Olive Branch. Ask for Kevin or Jeff or Drew or any member of the great team at All-Star, and they'll show you all the new Chevys and more in the pipeline. Our All-Star friends, they've been right there for us, getting all the best 21s and 22s. Seriously, these will go really fast. To try to get down there this week. Pre-order whatever you want. Zero interest financing available. Your good credit, it deserves that. Go to allstarautogroup.com and look at all the pre-owned and certified pre-owned Chevy, Silverados, Tahoes, and Suburbans. Go big. Check out the new Stingray. And remember, it's not South Haven, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not Collierville, it's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch, Kraft Goodman Road, first exit on Highway 78. Find those new roads to All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Brett, one thing you can't say about Edo on the recruiting trail, based on that Adrian Peterson story trying to get his dad transferred over from an Oakland to an L.A. prison, you can't say he's not driven on the recruiting trail. My gosh.
Well, he
Good
is,
Lord.
but also the insincerity,
Right.
inauthentic, the not flattering part of it. I wish the person interviewing him would go, when was the last time you checked in with Adrian Peterson and even act like you cared about his dad?
Yep. I mean, that's what recruiting is, Brett.
I will say this to Hugh Freeze.
It's buttering guys up to get them to come to your school and get
You're
on
not
campus.
going to believe this, but you know who Hugh Freeze has stayed really tight with through the years, and I think they're pretty good buddies, with Chris Jones with Kansas City, who went to Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm. And some guys stay close with guys they find on the recruiting trail and they talk to on the
A
recruiting
lot
trail.
of Bama guys revered Pat Dye. Even though they signed with Bama, they love Pat Dye.
No, there's a lot of guys out there that played for Edo that love Edo. I'll tell you that right now. He's
definitely.
a beloved guy by his players.
Definitely.
And the guys he met on the recruiting trail. I don't know about Adrian Peterson, though. That was an interesting story he told. Now, we're going to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we have some Grizzlies to discuss. They're in action tonight versus the Pelicans. We bring on Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. Coming up next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Tony Harris, former East High School and University of Tennessee All-American basketball player. As a former player, I assisted a lot of teammates into scoring points on the basketball floor. Now, as an experienced insurance broker, I assist communities and families with retirement, investments, college savings plans, 401k rollovers, and life insurance with living benefits. This past year, in 2021, my company, HOM Financial Services, put $10 million back into the communities of Memphis with our services. We have a team of licensed experienced brokers ready to assist you and your needs. Contact me today at 901-501-9343. Again, that's 901-501-9343 at HOM Financial Services. Let me, Tony Harris, assist you today.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios. Grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers. Everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the next generation of drivers, where titanium ends and the carbon age begins. Introducing the new Stealth Carbon Wood driver from TaylorMade, with 60 layers of carbon twist-based technology designed for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, or shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
You already know that Sunrise on Jefferson serves up the freshest and fastest breakfast or lunch in the city with only the highest quality ingredients. But there's so much more to Sunrise. This is a place you can rush through to get something to eat. But it's also a place where, if you have the time, you can enjoy it leisurely in a great atmosphere. Sunrise is full of beautiful folk art and, more importantly, features one of the most impressive Bloody Mary bars you're ever going to see. If you have the time, there's nothing like taking it at Sunrise.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Grizzlies visit the Pelicans tonight. They catch them on a back-to-back, but Grizzlies have lost 8 of the last 10 to them, dating back over the last 3 years. Even lost earlier this year on November 13th, 112-101. Ja Morant is questionable tonight. We bring on Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian, Grizzlies beat writer for them, at is it Drew Hill _DM? Drew, how are you, man? You doing well?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. What has been the issues with the Grizzlies and the Pelicans? Why have they sort of been Achilles healed by that team in particular?
I don't know if there's really a good answer to that question, to be perfectly honest. I feel like obviously that was a game you thought you should have had earlier this year. It's one of only 8 games this year that they've had their, I guess, anticipated starting lineup, where they had Dylan and Ja both available. There's not really a good excuse for it, to be honest. They just have not played well in the games against New Orleans. And New Orleans' physicality in the past, like Zion has had great games against the Grizzlies. Obviously, he won't be playing tonight. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It doesn't really make a ton of sense that the Pelicans seem to have their number, but they definitely do.
Drew, you had a really great opportunity on the road trip in Charlotte to really go behind the scenes and see what makes Ja really tick, and the family, his South Carolina upbringing from Smallville to Murray, Kentucky, to Memphis, Tennessee. It's almost like he was made to be the star in a smaller NBA market.
Yeah, that's something that I've discussed with a lot of the people down there. And I don't want to give away too much because I'm really excited about these stories that are coming out over the next 3 days. But that is something that we did discuss. It's the whole loyalty aspect is certainly a big part of his life. It's part of the reason why he didn't move away from that small town. Part of the reason why.
We lose you, Drew. I think we lost Drew. Try to check that out, Bryant. But yeah, he's coming out with that three-part series on Ja Morant. Something about Ja Morant that really sort of resonates with me, especially in Memphis. And I'm going to bring this up with Drew once he sort of gives us his answer on what he was about to say. He has embraced the hell out of the city of Memphis. He has done everything he can to become one with the city.
And it just continues the contrast of that draft night of what, could have been disappointing for some and not getting Zion, and instead getting Ja Morant. and how he is. He's been embraced. Look, he would have been he would have been a star anywhere. He would have been perfect for New York, for Chicago, for Los Angeles. But it feels like his upbringing. We have Drew back with us now. Drew, thank you for being patient with us. We're sorry we lost you. Continue about Ja and the small town values and upbringing and the love for basketball that he's brought to Memphis.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So that was something that we discussed a lot with the people around his life, is Memphis and how he's such a good fit here. And he is a great fit here. But I would say this, is you never know if a player is going to play his whole career in one place. Mm-hmm. And I think with the Morant, what it comes down to is loyalty. That's part of the reason why he stayed in Dalzell. He had opportunities to maybe go to a prep school or go a different direction. But out of loyalty, he stayed. And I think that, if he feels Memphis is loyal, and he certainly does now, then this will always be a great fit for John Morant. So to me, it's I went in thinking what everyone else was thinking, which is he's so perfect for Memphis because Memphis is a small market and he's from a small town. I wouldn't say it's about that as much after I left. I think it more comes down to loyalty. And from start to finish, Memphis has included him in pretty much everything. And he feels a sense of loyalty between he and Taylor and he and Zach. And as long as that exists, I think that he's a good fit for Memphis.
And embracing the culture of Memphis. You're talking about a guy who's gotten mentions in songs by Moneybagg Yo, by J. Cole. He hangs around Moneybagg Yo, whether it's courtside or what have you. He has embraced the culture of this city, I think, more than a lot of superstars in the city that they're playing in.
Well, that's certainly true. There's also a cool factor to Ja.
Of course.
He's
Big
so
time.
cool. Like, everyone wants to be Ja. And I think it becomes really easy to embrace the culture when everyone in Memphis is dying to be around him. And part of that is Ja's doing. But I think you're right. People love the fact that Ja reps Memphis as much as he possibly can. He still reps South Carolina as much as he possibly can. And it just makes him an even more likable player.
Drew, I can't wait to this unveiling of this entire series. It was fun to watch your Twitter interaction with his people, with his closest friends, the people that make him tick. What's the Daily Memphians plan for coverage of the All-Star game in Cleveland? Are you going? Exactly what are y'all going to try to do around All-Star?
Yeah, so this series will lead into it. I leave for Cleveland on Thursday.
Perfect.
And I'm hoping the access is kind of crazy, to be honest. I think that there's fear with the NBA that a COVID outbreak at the All-Star game could take down several teams simultaneously, since these guys are all going back to different places. So the access is very limited. I don't know if we have an answer for just how much we're going to be able to do yet, but I will be in Cleveland, and I leave on Thursday. I'm super excited to go do that.
Mm-hmm. No epidemiologist am I, but I hope that this is the beachhead of the NBA with COVID. I understand all due concern and everything this weekend, protocol and extra careful measures, but I hope after this weekend, especially with restrictions coming down and in cases and hospitalizations and deaths, everything falling, I'm hoping, Drew, after this weekend that this is the last real nervousness scare of COVID in the NBA.
I think they're going to be super careful. I hope so too, just like you. I think they're going to be super careful just because I'm basing that assumption off of the fact that the measures at the All-Star game are beyond. I mean, they're essentially the same measures that I had to take when I went to the bubble, minus having to quarantine for several days leading up to it. So, got to turn in a negative COVID test when you get there. You got to be tested, and it's to be around. And there's going to be a very limited number of people that are going to be allowed to be around the players, and so it's this way it's almost a step backwards a little bit, but any sort of access to the All-Star game, I'm not complaining.
Well, hell, first half of the season, more players played NBA minutes than any other year previously. So I understand why they're taking those type of measures. Now, the Grizzlies, their second half schedule is relatively easy. They're chasing the Warriors right now, 2 games behind. The Warriors, I think, top half schedule as far as strength is concerned for the rest of the way. Well, what do you think of the Grizzlies' chances to catch the Warriors and get to that number 2 spot in the West?
I think they definitely have a chance. I wouldn't predict it would happen. I think that if you were betting, a betting man would bet that the Grizzlies are just going to finish right here in third because they've got a pretty comfortable lead over the Jazz. The Warriors have gone the wrong – I don't want to say completely the wrong direction. They've won a ton of games, but they've lost 2 out of their last 3, so maybe they're a little bit more vulnerable than we all expected. And then, we don't really have good answers on the Draymond stuff. I mean, we know that he's been out with the back problem. It's so serious that I guess it's giving him a leg problem as well. It sounds not good to me for somebody on the outside looking in at the Warriors. What the reports that you see that are out there, and that's a major hit for the Warriors. So.
Right.
I think that there's certainly a chance that the Grizzlies could catch them. I wouldn't predict it to happen, but no one predicted the Grizzlies would be in third place at this point, so you never know.
Got a road trip to come out of the All-Star break, Minnesota and Chicago, 2 Central Time Zone games. That's about as easy as a road trip as you can have in the NBA. The schedule appears to be easy, all things being relative, all things being normal. What do you think the coaching staff of controllables, never mind the injury and maybe just a bad shooting funk for someone, what is it you think's number one priority? All right, we're good. We know we're good, but we really got to address this strategically coming out of the break. What do you think that is, Drew?
I don't think he's going to be ready right out of the break, but the biggest underlying question this team has going forward into the postseason is what to do with Dillon Brooks. And what level will Dillon Brooks be when he comes back from the injury? Will he look like the Dillon Brooks that we saw last season? And can they figure out a plan that works with him? I think that there are definitely concerns that he may not be able to rein it in enough, especially on the offensive end, to keep the Grizzlies' current pecking order that's been so successful intact. That's not a knock on Dillon, because I think that his confidence is the reason why he was so good in the postseason last year. It's the reason why he's been able to turn himself from a second-round pick into a quality NBA starter. But if he's taking 17 shots, Ja better be taking more shots than that. And I think that's a question.
What's your feel on that? Do you think Dillon Brooks is going to be a guy who could be willing to accept a smaller role on the offensive end?
I think in when you talk about it like this, maybe it's different when you get back out on the court.
Understood.
Dillon wants to win just as much as anyone, but I think that Dillon, as he's processing it on the court, I mean, he even talked about when he was coming back from the COVID stuff before he injured himself, how he knows he's got a different role now coming back after all that. And then he immediately went out and took just as many shots as John in the next game. So I probably sound like a Dillon Brooks hater right now. I'm not a Dillon Brooks hater. I just think that is a major question. It's something that the Grizzlies are going to have to address, because this pecking order is what has worked.
Yep. The
Grizzlies also have to think about their future down the road. You know, you're going to give Ja probably a super max contract this offseason. And then you got a guy like Desmond Bane, who everyone's going to want to be on the team, whose value is probably the third highest on the team right now. And he's going to be due for an extension the offseason after that. So is Dillon. Dillon's contract will be up. And you've got to find a way to make the money work and shuffle guys around, and you got to think about the future of your team. It's fascinating to wonder what Dylan's going to look like at the end of this year, because I think you have to make some assessments if you're Zach Kleiman about the future of the team, depending on what Dylan looks like in the last month of the season and into the postseason. And to me, there's no doubt in my mind that is the biggest question for the Grizzlies going forward.
How substantial, last thing for you, how substantial do you think the level of growth has been for Jaren Jackson Jr.? 3 double-doubles in the last 5 games. And not to mention, it looks like he's more than just a shot blocker now. It looks like he is becoming a certified stopper. Did it first against Julius Randle, then Marcus Morris he made uncomfortable. This last game I know he fouled out, but he made Miles Bridges' life hell. I mean, he is starting to come into his own on the defensive side of the ball as a stopper, not just a rim protector.
Yeah, I think he's made great progress, but I also think part of it is just playing. Mm-hmm. I've asked this to Jaren himself, and Jaren says, I don't have a good answer for that, to be honest. Like, there wasn't something that clicked in my mind about how I need to play defense, or I didn't practice my timing. You just get better timing from playing the game. And I think that all of those things sort of combined, as well as just being healthy and being able to move around a little bit better, have been he's made the progress that you would have expected had the injury never happened to his knee. So yeah, I think that this is real progress. None of this is fake in any way. I think that this is just the Jaren that we're going to come to expect going forward.
Mm-hmm. He is Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at @DrewHill_DM. Drew, always appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah.
You have a good one. You can follow all of his work at thedailymemphian.com as well. Now, we're going to switch gears when we come back. Before we talk to Bo Marchant, I have a mock draft I want to go over. Where do some of the names fall? Some quarterbacks. Where does Matt Corral fall for you Ole Miss fans out there? And also, we have another sort of chapter here in the Kyler Murray offseason saga. We'll be right back on Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point energy-saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week, and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Looking for a good deal on ammo? Check out Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville. Right now, 223, 9mm, and 12-gauge buckshot are all on sale. 400 rounds of 223 in sealed Spam cans for $199. 50-round boxes of 9mm Full Metal Jacket for $19.99 a box. 12-gauge buckshot, 15 rounds per box, 8 boxes per case, on sale for $125 per case. Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville. On Instagram at TGG_Tennessee and Facebook at Tactical Guns and Gear. Don't forget to tell them Eli sent you.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. There are a lot of ways to ruin your roof. Probably none worse than ice and snow. Google the term ice dam, and you'll understand that standing snow and ice can destroy your home's interior. Call me, 867-0303. Damaged ceilings or interior? It's time to call Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. We're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, so we've been vetted and trained by the best. You've known the name for years. Call me before you call your insurance company. We won't try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. We'll measure your roof from outer space. Call me, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
So, the immature finger pointer has officially broken his silence. Kyler Murray goes to Instagram after all the reports from Chris Mortensen and the people at ESPN saying he's frustrated with the Cardinals. He goes to IG. He says, I play this game for the love of it, my teammates, everyone who has helped me get to this position that believed in me and to win championships. All of this nonsense is not what I'm about, never has been, never will be. Anyone who has ever stepped between those lines with me knows how hard I go. It just seemed like a whole lot of reporting and sources being cited for no reason. Kyler Murray will be a Cardinal. Kyler Murray will probably get a contract extension with the Cardinals. But
he's earned it.
But there's
definitely could somebody not give him the pass of they got a lot worse last year after DeAndre Hopkins got hurt.
Yes, would you agree with the sentiment that there's got to be some type of power structure going on or power struggle going on behind closed doors, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury, the front office, and everything else?
Well, it's the Bidwells.
There's a reason that this report came out when it did. There's year 3 going on year 4. You have to start negotiating contracts now.
Yeah, they were trying to undercut his value.
That's uncomfortable to me, and
won't be forgotten with a big year and
absolutely
contract
not.
time.
You think Cliff Kingsbury? Here's my other question and we're going to have plenty of time to ponder this over this long off season. Do you think Cliff Kingsbury can sort of repeat what he did this year?
No, I don't think he can. I don't think he's that good a coach. I don't know how he ever got that job. And he has made it work with Kyler Murray. That's his guy from way back. He wouldn't have made it work with a lot of others, and it won't work to Super Bowl or even NFC Championship game with Cliff Kingsbury.
A lot of his stuff, it's awfully gimmicky, and he works the sidelines. Not a lot in the middle of the field. And without DeAndre Hopkins in that lineup, or at least the aging DeAndre Hopkins, you wonder if that production is going to be the same. And
Yeah, they got real average real fast without him.
I was going to say, through watching Cliff Kingsbury at the college level, I just don't know if the sustained success is something that he'll be able to do at the NFL level, but we'll see.
Here's the obvious. Is he too short?
No. I don't believe in too short, personally. Does it inhibit him in certain facets of the game? Sure. But he's fast enough, doesn't get hit all that hard, and escapable enough to make stuff happen.
Arm plenty, strong enough.
Arm plenty. Hands big enough. His hands are big enough.
Yeah, oh yeah. Big hands.
All right, now we're going to have Chad Reuter, who's actually an NFL draft analyst, on the show later toward draft season once we get closer to the NFL draft. But he released his initial 1 through 32 first-round mock. And his top 5, Evan Neal from Alabama goes to the Jaguars. The Lions take Aiden Hutchinson. Panthers at 3, he has them taking Malik Willis. 4, Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame goes to the Jets. And then the Giants take Ikem Ekwonu, who is the offensive tackle from NC State. I am not understanding, and I know he had a good showing at the Senior Bowl, but Malik Willis that high could get someone fired. I really do believe that, Brett.
It sure could. It could get the whole building bulldozed, or it can make everybody look really, really smart.
It could. And then the other quarterbacks at number 9, he has Kenny Pickett going to the Denver Broncos. Number 10, he has the Steelers going to get Sam Howell. And then at number 11, Washington Commanders take Matt Corral. That wouldn't be a bad landing spot for Matt Corral.
It wouldn't be. That's a place that
besides the ownership, I don't like the ownership, but I think the team makeup is solid.
Solid head coach in Riverboat Ron. That's a place that he could go in for minicamp, OTAs, and then when full camp starts and try to compete to be opening day starter.
A couple of other names that are worth mentioning. At 13, Cleveland Browns, he has taking Traylon Burks. And then at 32, last pick of the first round, he has the Lions taking Desmond Ridder. That'd be a tough turnaround for Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
Going from a really successful program in Cincinnati straight to the Lions.
But those first 2 picks have really settled in on every mock.
The first 2 picks? Are you
talking about Neal and Hutchinson?
Neal and Hutchinson, yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised. Kayvon Thibodeau has sort of dropped out of that top 5 in a lot of mocks too, which I thought he'd be the number 1 overall guy going into this year, but Aiden Hutchinson and Evan Neal have sort of gotten that nod. That'll do it for hour number 2. We have a shortened hour number 3 as we're going to accommodate our coverage of Ole Miss and South Carolina. Pregame at 5:30, tip at 6. But coming up next, we bring on our friend Bo Marchant to talk some NFL.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around, Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Home stretch with the 5:30 pregame that we will join the Ole Miss Basketball Network. David Kellum in Oxford tonight for the game against South Carolina, 6 o'clock tip. So we'll visit with Bo Marchant, and then we'll get out with Taco Bell Crunch Time a little bit early today. This last half hour brought to you every day, and a whole hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road at 5704 Goodman Road. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they can't keep it simple for you and have the ultimate car experience guarantee. What does that mean? That means they care about your time, and that's why you test drive a car, credit approved, paperwork completed, you're out of there in 45 minutes or less, in time to do it right now and be home in time to watch the Tiger tip and, of course, the Grizzlies. After that, you can do it over your busy lunch hour at DeSoto Auto Sales, where every car is test driven, every car checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, no shortcuts taken at DeSoto Auto Sales. You'll be treated like part of the family, just like family, because you are. You can go online at DeSotoAutoSales.com and look at the cars and check out all the testimonials, all the referrals, and hear from all the repeat customers that have been satisfied time and again at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We bring in our friend from collegetopro.com, Bo Marchant, at Bo Marchant on Twitter. Bo, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How's the day treating you?
It is treating us well. Did you enjoy the bowl?
I did. It was kind of a frustrating time. My daughter she goes to Slippery Rock, and there was a whiteout of sorts. So she was panicking on the highway. So obviously duty call. So that was kind of, a lot of focus on making sure she was safe. So it was kind of a frustrating Super Bowl. Nonetheless, I rewatched it the next day. I got it in.
Right.
And now begins, I think, the best off season in American sport. It's the NFL. It really is not much of an offseason with how they have broken the calendar and the schedule down. But that game on Sunday, Bo, I saw a little bit of frustration, I think, from you in a tweet, and I texted Gabe before you ever tweeted. We were on the same kind of line of thought, and we even talked about it yesterday. There was a time on Sunday watching that game, I'm thinking, this is the best. This is the best two teams the NFL has to offer.
Oh, yeah. No, I tweeted. If that was a Thursday night game, week 4, and I was tired, I'd have said, you know what? I'll find out who wins in the morning.
Yeah, bedtime.
It was I don't think it was a good game. It's almost, I thought Zach Taylor made a lot of bad decisions. I thought Sean McVay made a lot of bad decisions. It was just a weird game in my estimation. I watching it, the Rams came out hot and the Bengals take that late lead. Going into halftime, you're like, wow, they open up the third quarter with the touchdown and the INT. You're thinking, but the Rams slowed them down. The defense came alive, but I thought Mixon ran the ball, way too well for them to dismiss him sort of in the second half. Ryan there on the third down call, that was a strange call. The play before that where Burrow, I basically look at he was just throwing the ball away for that, second down deep long pass. It just kind of entered in a flutter. Just, that's it. All the talk all week about McPherson and the leg and the opportunity, and we never got to see that. And this is what else I really thought about. And I'm not taking anything away from Matthew Stafford. I memean, he did drive the team down the field. I didn't like the Logan Wilson call, but nonetheless, it's part of the game. But I really started thinking of trading places with Lewis Winthorpe and Billy Ray Valentine, Aykroyd, and thinking, can any team just basically, I think the numbers. Jared Goff was a 60% winning passer. Look up and down any quarterback with those type of numbers. It's rare than Stafford gets the title, but I was just starting to think, can you really plug and play almost any quarterback? I could go on. I don't like McVay with that team. If Bill Belichick had that Rams team, what would that score been Sunday?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably a lot to a little. What do you think about the Stafford Hall of Fame talk after that one? What do you think about his legacy going forward?
Well, that's where I really started thinking about him being stuck in Detroit for 12 years on a dismal team, year after year. And look at Goff, 42-27 during his time with the Rams. 1 year in Detroit, 3-10-1. So who knows? I mean, maybe Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know that, but he did have his moments in Detroit. Winning a Super Bowl always puts you on that pedestal, but I thought he had a good postseason, and he took a beating down the stretch. His turnovers, people were really writing him off. Now he's come to full circle where he's been able to get rid of those demons a little bit. I don't know if I'd call him a Hall of Fame quarterback. Right. In my estimation, is Joe Theismann a Hall of Fame quarterback? I mean, he won a Super Bowl. Jim Plunkett won 2. So I don't know. I don't put him up on that thing. I don't think even on a bad Detroit team where you ever thought, wow, this guy. But on the flip side, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, if he was on a better team,
he won.
He would have won.
Mm-hmm.
How about
both
you guys?
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about this yesterday, and we're with you on the. I say Stafford is. I say Stafford is a Hall of Famer even before this year. Just stuck. If it had just been another 8-9 or 7-10 win year in Detroit, I think he's done enough. But there is something too, whether it's in that introduction or, and I hope in a long time for Matt Stafford, when AP runs that obituary, it's going to say Matthew Stafford, comma, Super Bowl winning quarterback. You won't ever be able to take that away from him. Every introduction the rest of his life. Tonight, our special guest speaker, Matthew, from the Super Bowl winning Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford. He gets that from now time through immemorial for the rest of his life. And Bo, I know it's heresy in that town that you cover so well for Pittsburgh, but look what being Super Bowl champion. Now, he did it 4 times too. But look what being Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP did for Lynn Swann. His statistics, his regular season body of work, it's very pale, but he was great on that day.
Oh yeah, when you look, a lot of those older receivers, I think they do get lost in the shuffle in terms of production because it was a ground game. I mean, very few, and that's why when you're seeing a passer like a Dan Fouts or the big number that Joe Namath put up, or the Johnny Unitas, that's why those guys look so special because there was not a lot of pass. I mean, look at the receivers. Lance Allworth, Raymond Berry. Those guys were putting up numbers at the receiver position when nobody was doing it. So I get it. And again, back with Stafford, I think the Atlanta Falcons have had success under Matt Ryan. They lost the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, but I think most people would say he's probably a Hall of Famer. And then you think of Stafford stuck in Detroit. Now he has a ring. It's a weird debate. Like I said.
With Matt Stafford, or Matt Ryan, could you imagine if he didn't lose that Super Bowl? It's indisputable. He's a Hall of Famer. Indisputable. No one would touch it. MVP, 4-time Pro Bowl, All-Pro. No one would touch that argument. Yep. They know he was a Hall of Famer. And with Matt Stafford, I see, he doesn't have Pro Bowls. So what? I think Pro Bowls are kind of weird in their popularity contest. All-Pro, he had to climb a heck of a mountain. That's Tom Brady. That's Peyton Manning. That's Eli Manning. That's Big Ben. That's a whole lot of guys. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Big Ben ever got a nod as an All-Pro.
Here's a tough Hall of Fame vote, and I would vote yes.
Yeah, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, Pro Bowler.
And I'll throw it around the room to everyone. I say yes. Donovan McNabb, yes or no? Room, Bryant, Gabe, Bo. I say yes on Donovan McNabb.
Ooh. That's tough.
I gotta go no.
I'm probably, oh gosh. Let's see.
He's not going to play any more games.
He's not playing any more games. I don't know because the thing with Stafford, you're talking about a guy by the end of his career. He's at 12 right now, all-time passing yards and all-time passing touchdowns. He's got what? 3-4 more years worth of work to put under his belt at the least? Because
my argument for him not being in is Terrell Owens. I think if you're the franchise leader, you are the king of the castle. You are the alpha male. Yeah. Anybody like Terrell Owens, he abides by you. It's not the other way around. And I really thought he threw McNabb under the bus, and he kind of just dealt with it. I don't think you do that to Brady. You're not going to do that to Montana. You weren't going to do it to Ben. You were going to do it to Peyton. So, again, that means nothing. But when I think about that, I just can't think that was he the leader in the clubhouse when you had this guy going so ballistic all the time?
Yeah. Now, how do you take over the alpha spot from Mr. Alpha though himself, T.O.? That's hard. I mean, that would be hard for Peyton Manning to walk in and say, T.O., sit down and shut up. This is my team.
Yeah, but I still think, like Antonio Brown was like that when he was with the Bucs. He knew that Brady was the alpha male. Now, when he got released, he went to typical AB, and he talked about that. But I just think those guys command the room. Right. I guess it's kind of like a Kevin Durant. Simmons is going there now to Brooklyn. I don't think Simmons is going to do the same things he did to the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, I could be wrong, but yeah, 76ers.
I'd say no to the stats aren't there. One, and then you also have to take into context. With Matt Stafford, a lot of the Hall of Fame case has to do with context, what he was doing with Detroit and Jim Caldwell. And I don't think the Eagles are a bad franchise. I do think they've had bad years, but he also had Andy Reid for a lot of his career, too.
And McNabb played his career during the big crossover from ground and pound, big shoulder pads, let's line up and run the football, to right at the end came the pass-happy era. Bryant, your vote on Donovan McNabb, yes or no?
Let's hear
it. Fringe guy, I'll say no, right outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3-1 speaks volumes.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get him that nod.
Got my head tore off, didn't I?
I know you have some guys that you look at going into the NFL draft this year. Who are your guys right this second? Know it's early in the game. Know we have to get to pro days, combines, and so forth. But who's jumping off the page right this second?
Well, first of all, I'm going to put names that we all know because I work in such a methodical world that I'll start talking about some first string tackle in the GMAC conference. But I think you go with the quarterbacks, Malik Wilson and Kenny Pickett. Malik Wilson was the hot name coming out of Mobile, Alabama, from the Reese Senior Bowl. Pickett was already that established guy going in. He did nothing to deter that, view leaving. Alabama. So I think those two quarterbacks, you look at the top 10, I mean, I think you could say the Lions at 2 could go quarterback. The Texans could go quarterback. The Jets have 2 picks inside the top 10. The Giants, Atlanta. So I just think there's a lot of Denver. I just think with those 2 quarterbacks, there's still plenty of teams that need those quarterbacks. And it's now just a matter of if those guys get hot enough from now till April 28th when this thing gets started in Las Vegas, are those guys have enough juice where these teams start to panic and say the Carolina Panthers, I think the Panthers are 5 or 6. They're saying, hey, you know what, we got to move up. We got to make a trade with the Jets at 2, and we got to move up. We got to get Malik Wood, or we got to get Kenny Pickett. So those are the 2 guys, and I think it's going to be fun. Last year we had the quarterbacks. We didn't know who's going to go where between Mac Jones and all those guys. But this year I think those are your top 2 horses. And I think it's going to be fun because they're not the elite where they're going to say, hey, these guys are number 1 and 2 coming off the board. Which one is it going to be? A Rick, Drew Bledsoe or Rick Meyer, an Andrew Luck or Ryan Griffin? We don't know that.
Rick Meyer mention of the day. We got 2 in one day. I did it earlier, Bo.
Woo! That's excellent.
We talk about bad decisions with quarterbacks all the time, though. I mean, you look at what happened with Nagy and Pace in Chicago. That's the reason they ended up having to move on and get fired because of the pick of Mitchell Trubisky. Does Malik Willis, I see him a lot in mock drafts in the top 5. Does he scare you within that range in the top 5?
No, I don't. I mean, Trey Lance went 3 last year to the 49ers. Malik was a, Auburn transfer. So, I like to say, he had that 5-star pedigree, 4-star pedigree coming out. I mean, he ended up at a smaller school in Liberty.
Big arm.
Yeah, big arm, and again, great week in Mobile. He played against the top guys, the Power 5 conferences. He did his thing. He comes across as a great kid. Media day, seems fabulous. I was fortunate enough. Again, I rode over the practice one day with the Liberty coach. I mean, not that he's going to badmouth. The coach is going to, just as one of his own players, but spoke highly of him. I just think those 2 guys are going to be fun to watch. And Matt Corral got hurt. I think that just dings that immediate. Everybody wants instant gratification. I would never be like that in the draft. But if I thought I could get Patrick Mahomes, even if he had a dinged up leg, I'm still taking Patrick Mahomes. I don't understand where teams. It's impossible. I mean, 8 weeks. You might miss a guy for 8 weeks, and you're going to let him slide. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a fun draft for all of us because it's a little bit wide open, and I think that's the mystery, the fun of the NFL draft is you kind of want to have an idea, but you really don't want to know for sure where each one of these guys are going to be pegged and come off the board.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Bo. Any of these guys in the top 5 kind of scare me a little bit. I don't know who, and Malik Willis certainly put himself in that conversation with his Senior Bowl performance, but it's a weird year for quarterbacks. We'll see how it works itself out. But, Bo, appreciate it as always, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, stay safe, guys.
You too. And you can follow him on Twitter at Bo Marchand. But it's officially time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Before I get into what I learned today, shout out to Simone Biles and Texans DB Jonathan Owens. They got engaged today. By the way, Jonathan Owens, pride of Missouri Western State. He's a Griffin.
Ooh,
he's a Griffin. And they have a nice indoor facility there.
Oh,
at Missouri
it's
Western
insane.
State.
Oh, day after Valentine's proposal.
Well, you can't do it on
trickeration, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's well done. Well done by him.
Very well done.
But what I learned today is that when you look at college football coaching, we're getting a retread that I don't know if a lot of people will be ready for, Looks like Grambling State, Hugh Jackson, they're going to target and try to sign Art Briles as their OC at Grambling State. Now, I don't know if they're going to finalize that contract this week. I know there's been reports about it, but it looks like Art Briles is going to get another chance.
Wow, that is a strange twist. What I learned today, as bad and as disappointing as this year really had been until about the last 2 weeks for the Memphis Tigers, everything they want in front of them. Now, tonight they're going to have to do it with the breaking news of no Earl Timberlake. That will hurt because guard play, especially point guard play, it's been shaky all year. But it's proof. It's a long season, and you got to have 68 teams in that tournament. Tigers have hope.
Brett, that Art Briles name, it shuts people's mouth quick, doesn't it? My
that's
God,
a stunner.
You can't. It's just hard to add anything to that.
I wasn't ready for that when I hadn't seen that.
Twitter's going to be going nuts. We know that there's people that were caught up with that Art Briles situation at Baylor that are coaching right now, that have relationships with him still. But damn.
Yeah, his son Kendall, Jeff Leppy, they all came out of that.
As soon as you hear Art Briles, everybody's mouth just
it shuts everything down.
My gosh. What I could have done without is former Angels pitcher Matt Harvey had to testify about drug use in the Eric K trial. For those that don't know about Eric K, K is the Angels employee accused of giving Tyler Skaggs fentanyl, which led to his tragic death in a hotel room. But Harvey, in his while he was testifying, said painkillers were common in the clubhouse. They did exchange them, but he was not the one who provided him the painkillers the night of his death. Just a terrible situation, so long ago, so preventable it feels, and just sad that we're still dealing with this.
Family.
And
his poor family having to hear all the testimony.
Feel awful for Skaggs' family and tough, just very, very tough.
It is tough. I could have done without the last Grizzlies win in New Orleans, December 7th, 2018. Only 2 wins there since December 5th of 2016.
There you go. What a stat.
And also this one on a could have done without. The Tigers haven't had the season sweep over Cincinnati since the 94-95 season. That season ended in a Sweet 16 for the Memphis Tigers. Both the Grizzlies and the Tigers, those Nuggets tonight are just astounding.
Yeah. 2 wins from a Grizzly win and a Tigers win would be good.
Be really good.
That'd be fun to talk about tomorrow.
Hoop City Magic tonight. Dateline Cincinnati for Tigers Bearcats.
Hey, did you see my man Al Golden making a return to Notre Dame to be the
did.
defensive coordinator?
Will he wear the tie like he broke out at the U as head coach?
I like the tie.
He's a good coach in the day.
Go with the tie.
Go with the tie.
He's what do you mean good coach in the day? Good coordinator? He's a good coordinator.
Yes.
He was about a 500 coach.
Yeah, real good coordinator. Dateline tonight, we'll watch Tigers in Cincinnati for that. Dateline New Orleans for Grizzlies Pelicans. Dateline Knoxville for Vols.
How about that
and
one?
CATS Cats.
Hey, look, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but Tennessee's 2-point favorite at home tonight.
Stay way
against
away.
Kentucky.
Yeah, I'd stay away from that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot better bets out there, like
Really?
Longwood.
I don't love the Longwood bet tonight.
Longwood laying the 8. Brett, are you laying it? Are you laying
No.
the 8?
I am not.
Or I started. We should get a score update. The Lancers.
We should get a breaking news ticker. But for Tennessee, they need that win tonight more than Kentucky does.
How about Providence in action tonight? I'm surprised you haven't mentioned that, Brett. Providence in action versus Villanova.
I love Ed Cooley.
Villanova.
I have Providence in my Elite 8.
Arkansas on the road against Mizzou tonight. Try to stay hot.
In Columbia. I kind of like that under. The under, how much?
I got to say, guys, I like Kentucky against Tennessee.
137.5.
I like Kentucky against Tennessee. Am I crazy?
No, I mean, I like them too.
At Thompson Bowling, crowd will be
I
rolling.
know. I understand that. I get that.
Be whining on every call.
It's a tough
Maybe
matchup.
throwing mustard. Who knows?
That is a tough matchup for Tennessee, though. That's a
Look
really
out for the golf
tough
balls,
matchup.
Cal. 4.
High Point's up 22-21 right now over the Lancers, by the way.
That's not 8.
It's not 8 at all. That's actually -1. Make it -3 now. No, -4. I'm sorry, my math skills aren't good.
Wait, did you have Longwood?
Clippers Suns
No, I did
tonight.
not.
Red hot Celtics tonight against the 76ers. Here come the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ime Udoka.
8 straight.
Better late than never. That's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Drew Hill, Brent Beard, Dave Woloshin, and Bo Marchand for their contributions to the program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll holler at you tomorrow at 3.